What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. We are now just 1 day completed of the LEC Super Week, the final week of the LEC regular season before we ultimately get into what is going to be a very, very spicy playoffs and hopefully a very, very exciting Worlds for both the LEC and the West as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have to wait and see. But the biggest storyline coming into this weekend, I really do think, between the LEC and the LCS is Fnatic. Whether or not they are going to even make the playoffs, let alone be able to make it to Worlds, and then if they do or don't make playoffs, and if they do or don't make Worlds, what that's going to mean going forward for the organization, for the roster, each one of these players, any new players are going to bring in. Like, these are all massive, massive storylines, especially when you're talking about a team as big, as popular, as influential, as historic as Fnatic. And yeah, so this weekend, what has happened so far? This first day went really about as good as it possibly could have for Fnatic. I mean, really, the only thing that could have went better is if Vitality beat SK. And I mean, Vitality was beating SK. This is a really, really weird game where Vitality got out to a big lead. And, I think Jezu even talked about this. Like, the point of SK's comp was to snowball, get ahead early, and just kind of run over the game, and they didn't even do that. They didn't snowball. They got behind early, but then were still able to come back with just, crazy team fighting. Treats had some nasty recon flanks, engages, and then obviously they have Click on CC and the Vi. They have a ton of ways to set up the Yasuo, with the recon, Darius, and Vi all being able to set him up. And even though Vitality got ahead, they threw their lead for like the second week in a row. Vitality threw a big game last week too. So SK, they had an outside shot. Coming into the weekend, I think SK had like a 10% chance of making playoffs, maybe less, but somewhere around there. And then picking up a big win over Vitality obviously boosted them up. And then another team that Fnatic's competing with for the playoff spots is Excel. And all of a sudden, Excel can't beat anybody. I mean, look at the past couple of weeks. We've had Excel, they lost to Vitality here. And then Excel lost to Mad Lions here. And then Excel lost to G2. And then Excel, I believe, lost again. Yes, they even lost to Team BDS. And now they lost to Rogues. They're on at least a 5-game losing streak, and it might even be more than that. They were a team that was towards the top of the table at the beginning of the split, and now all of a sudden they can't beat anybody. They lose to Rogue. That's helping out Fnatic a ton. And then finally, the last team that's in this race with Fnatic is obviously Astralis, who Fnatic got to play head-to-head. And Fnatic got a very, very big win over. This game was pretty scrappy early on. There was a couple of chances Astralis had to maybe take the lead or to maybe control this game a little bit. In the end, it's only 10-8 in kills, but Fnatic really strangled them out on everything else. 11-3 in towers, 3-0 inhibs, 1-0 Barons, 4-0 Dragons. And yeah, kind of a weird game, like I said, kind of low kills, kind of close in kills. Dayar goes 3-0 on the Karma. Zeri on the Kabe Kabe on the Zeri just never gets going. And yeah, just a lot of weird scorelines and stuff, but Fnatic pretty controlled, pretty good win overall, and a very, very big win for them. So all of a sudden, Fnatic came into the weekend with out of Astralis, Excel, and Fnatic, they had the lowest chances of making the playoffs, but now they've passed up Excel, they've passed up Astralis, and of course they were already ahead of SK, so they're still going to be ahead of SK. So all of a sudden, after one day, Fnatic's playoff chances have gone up greatly. They are now in 6th place, and they could still get to 10 wins. Fnatic could still go 10-8, and again, even the team at the top of the standings, Rogue, right now they have 10 wins, and Fnatic can still get to that mark, which is crazy. So if Fnatic went from maybe having a chance to barely make the playoffs to now they could even move up in the standings a little bit more, which is very, very interesting, but it's still possible that Fnatic could miss the playoffs altogether. And if we look ahead to the next 2 games, Fnatic's games get a little bit tougher. Vitality has been very, very beatable as of late. Vitality has not looked as strong as they did maybe 2 weeks ago. Vitality keeps getting out to these leads. They keep finding ways to throw. They keep getting outscaled. They keep getting out team fought. I think Perch and Alfari have looked really, really strong. I still think Haru is like pretty meh. I think Karzi has looked a little suspect recently, and there's been questions about Lebrov all year long, of course. So I think that Perch and Alfari are really, really strong in lane right now. They're getting ahead. They're getting leads, but Vitality as a team isn't able to take those leads into anything meaningful a lot of the time, and they haven't been able to convert to a lot of wins. Perks has been playing more facilitative stuff, more roaming stuff like Ari, and I think they might want to shift Perks onto a bigger carry role, a bigger carry position, but it's not exactly the mid lane meta right now, so I'm not sure what they're going to do there. So this honestly could be another very, very winnable game for Fnatic, but if they lose that, then it gets very, very spicy going into their last game, which is against Misfits, and Misfits has been surging recently. You can see Misfits started the year like 0-3, 0-4, something like that, and they're like 10-2 since then. Misfits has been on an absolute heater, an absolute tear. So Fnatic has two winnable games if they show up. Obviously, Fnatic's a talented enough team to win both of these games, but they are both also very losable games as well. Neither one of these games is going to be easy. Now, fortunately for them, again, I do think, the other teams don't exactly have the easiest schedules in the world either. We can see Astralis, they play Mad Lions, and then Excel. Obviously, Excel plays Astralis and SK, so SK plays Excel and then G2. And I think that's all three of the teams there. SK plays, G2 and Excel. Excel plays SK. So yeah, I mean, it's not like none of the teams left play BDS. BDS is playing Rogue and Mad Lions, so it's not like BDS, the free win, is going to factor into anything. Other than that, Excel probably looks like the second worst team in the league right now, and then Astralis probably the third worst. So I think Fnatic is in a good position to probably make it in the playoffs, especially since SK was starting from behind the 8-ball. SK was starting in the worst position, but SK could definitely take down Excel, and then G2 probably isn't going to have anything to play for in this last game. Who knows if they're going to troll or go for fun or whatever. But like I said, this day, even though all Fnatic had to do was beat Astralis, which is something they should definitely be able to do, if Fnatic hasn't looked great recently, and Astralis has definitely been surprising some people. So this was a game where a lot of pressure was on Fnatic. Fnatic hasn't really been rising up in these big situations the whole year, and they did so today. It wasn't the prettiest game in the world. It wasn't the most dominant game in the world, but they rose up and they won when they needed to. And all of a sudden, they may have just saved the season, for lack of a better word. Now, again, I don't think they looked great. So I don't think they're going to be like in great form going into the playoffs or anything like that. I don't think they've like changed my mind about them from this win in Astralis, but there's still two games left to change our minds. And then they still have the playoffs as well. And you have to remember the LEC does have 4 seeds now, which is really, really going to help Fnatic. Just all the more chances to eke into the playoffs and maybe even eke into Worlds as well. And really, if you get to Worlds, that probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for this Fnatic team. I think a lot of fans would forgive them. Now, obviously, you don't want to go to Worlds and like not make it out of play-ins or something like that. But to go to Worlds, the first step, what you got to do is make playoffs, and everything went right for Fnatic today. They did what they needed to do. The other teams didn't do what they needed to do, and I think overall this really, really, really did help out Fnatic, and ultimately could help out, a lot of these storylines and stuff, because people have been super critical of Wonder throughout the year, and Humanoid, and Razork, and saying that Hylissang's inting, and, upset, he just can't win, he's a drama queen diva, he's tearing apart all these teams and all this stuff, and if they don't make playoffs, and if they don't make Worlds, those narratives are going to keep popping up, and there's going to be change and stuff coming to this team. But if they can figure some of these things out, these players might save their spot at Fnatic for next year, might save their jobs, who knows. But either way, there could still be a lot of changes coming in the near future. So I'm very, very interested and very excited to see how the end of this regular season closes out, how these last couple of games go. I don't know. I guess at this point, I still think Fnatic's going to get the 6th seed, and I don't think they're going to make a deep playoff run. I don't think they're going to Worlds, but hey, it's better than missing the playoffs altogether. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.